Hello and welcome as we are entering into the 29th day of April 2020. My name is Derek. This is the Money Charts channel. All bets, trades, and of the like. That's within each's own risk and their own reward. Alrighty, let's get started. Gold. And at least on the futures contract, because the futures and the COMEX price is different, as is the prices for buying the real physical commodities. That's the spreads being higher. Well, 1709, 1710. On this example, we've seen how this level of resistance in at around 1670 was hit once, twice again with a much larger pullback that pierced below the 15 and a quarter mark. And then we resisted the 16 and 3/5 mark April the 7th. Sideways day on the pullback, and then breaking out above it on April the 9th, and well, getting a nice little noticeable level higher, 17 and a third, and then the pullback exactly on the 21st, but also even on the 20th towards this level. It's been able to lift off, but okay, lower high, matching high from this to this. We're still in an uptrend. It has lost momentum, so there's a little room for caution that we might have a little bit of a glimpse down. But as it goes, the journey and destination to me is, I feel, obvious. Weekly chart, this thing has been just outstanding. Now this is the COMEX price. The futures price is higher. The reason I was going to start off and go with G1 as I show it here. The GC one here. See, this is 17 and a quarter. Pretty much the same thing. I just have the Fibonacci lines. That's why I started off with that. Then I go to this because I got more data. So I'm showing the long-term time frame. I'm working with more this way. But as this is played out, this is a spot where this was in a sideways down move here through the 80s and the 1990s. Ultimately bottoming near 2001, 2002. And then a consistent run amongst with higher highs and higher lows, spending the majority of the time above the 18 average of highs. And it went on until 2011. 8+ years since that top has been in play. Not much of a down move, but price action staying below the lows in here. We're getting above, but really you can see this the down, the sideways, and now the sideways starting to move higher. So you can see this is like an early stage of a move higher, sort of like maybe it's a comparable to like this. It just very well may be. We can continue having the stable run of higher highs and higher lows. I do feel as we continue to move into several months from now, that is probably got a good chance that this is going to break this level of resistance and have a significant leg moves higher. 5 figures, definitely I think is a realistic target level for where gold can go, and probably not take too long. But I mean, trying to predict when is so difficult. I can remember saying back in here, this point in here, the dollar, the fiat currency, it's going to collapse. I'm saying the same thing today. It's going to happen. When? It's going to happen. I thought the safe thing was, you know what, conservatively, yeah, by 2020, but it's going to, by the end of 2020, yeah, or start of 2020 for sure, which was back in here. No, I mean, it's been 12 long years since and I don't want to sing a song. I learned about this type of currency. I learned about a lot of different things. And I realized that it's just a matter of time. And then, of course, 2008, 2009, Lehman Brothers fall, all that stuff happens, and all the bailouts. And it's been a long time since then, and that's what this and this has been. And now we've had the particular event we all know about that has come into play. And I think it's going to happen sooner rather than later. And I didn't think that way 7-8 months ago. I was thinking and hoping, I guess I'm still hoping it happens, but that we would see Bitcoin hit these levels of well, like 60, 80, 100,000. Gold break higher, silver break higher. But have these gold and silver breaks come in like, well, I guess I know gold and silver is going to be going up with the inflation of all other items in time, as in the cycle of all hyperinflationary moves. But I was thinking, okay, as far as like costs being so high for things like groceries, and I didn't think gasoline prices would come this low, but the situation, but hey, they have. But as far as the main products, when they start to inflate really big, I was thinking, no way it's going to happen in 2020. No way it's going to happen in 21 or even 22, most likely. But, 23, 24, 25, I mean, some of those years is probably not going to be pretty. And I was hoping if it can go at least until 22, 23, I could probably accumulate a large amount of gold and silver with a crypto game if it can keep still rolling, knowing that it's easy for me to turn cryptos into precious metals. But the market's going to do what it's going to do. On the yearly time frame here, and this is one of my favorite setups, it had this move in 1980. There's its little bit of a correction area. Well, it's mainly of a sideways correction from this little move more than anything. And a small little price and a little bit of time in here. And yeah, small. Doesn't even come back to where it came from here. Doesn't even go the 18 average of lows. It just stayed within the highs. And then last year, it broke out above it. And we have a continuation breakout within this year. So a very strong yearly pattern looking at 2021 and 22 are going to be extremely aggressive. Thus, it wouldn't be a surprise if we see some large green candles where we're going to be looking at, could be seeing, seeing 17, 30,000 in this level would not be a surprise. But again, having a mark up to 10, yeah, that looks like where a normal leg higher would come from, or make it towards. And 5,000 to me, I think, is very conservative. That's gold. Let's go on to silver now. We'll move on. And I pushed the pause button as I did before I finished saying what I'm usually going to. Usually when I plan on pausing something, I'll say what I want to say, push the pause button, knowing I'm going to move into this and say this next. And this is one of the spots where I pushed pause about 1 second before I finished on, or 2 seconds finished saying what I wanted to. Anyway, silver on the daily chart. It's been stuck with it, and it's really not much. Really, I'm just making this video today showing this, saying, yeah, it's doing this, and until it doesn't, it will be doing this, and this is between low 15. I mean, lately it's only going up to 15 and a third, but even if it goes up to 15 and 2/3 and 3/4, it's going to be yada yada sideways range. And even if it goes up to 16 and a quarter. But if it goes up to 16 and a quarter, more importantly, breaking above like closer to 16, could we potentially see this thing break? But this thing is showing no signs of breaking out or breaking down, just stuck within this 18 average. Of course, the very large, high volatile move down. A decent sized correction, but like the stock market and things like this, it's having a good rally, but still, this could be a lower high to this, and we could be making a lower low. Will this happen? Well, we'll wait and see, but until I can see something like a breakout below the 18 average of lows or highs, it's just going to stay in this boring little price. So there really isn't much more than just to go way back over, keep talking about the long-term time frame. Still in the sideways consolidation. We've dipped down below. We're at the 18 average of lows, but really just hanging in there, the lower end of the support range. And throughout this entire run, it's been even, we got sideways consolidation here between $4.50 since like 1976. Even if you go 75, 76, pretty much since I've been alive. It's been in the sideways consolidation. I mean, one way it could have been is $50 was too high. Maybe it should have topped here. But then maybe, considering we're talking fiat currency, we should have maybe had something like this happen, where today, or even back in 2006, we're talking about prices of like something like, 100, 160, 150. And if that's the way the market was, I mean, all I'm saying here is that we're below these 1980 highs. And if these people that are saying they're manipulating the price of silver lower, those that are in control of these price markets, had they been able to be successful with their job? Okay. And now the ratio and the job that they're doing for manipulating prices. Well, everything's always going to go, to me, through the laws of physics and how everything's always supposed to go. At least that's how I believe it as anyway. In that, these inflationary, hyperinflationary cycles always play out the same way. You're going to have your deflationary runs here and there, yada, yada, for that. But when you get to the stages, and that's why I like to use the term for when groceries are this much more. All these prices are 20, 30, 40, 50, really the early stages of hyperinflation. That's when you know then and after these points that these things are going to break out, silver and gold. Well, that's what I'm expecting to happen. So whether we have these major price problems, it wouldn't surprise me if we move into the summer and fall if it gets out of control. I hope not, but the markets and the price actions are going to do what they're going to do. This thing has been in this upward trend ever since when? 2011, when silver was $50. I think there's going to come a time when silver just breaks out magnificent, where not only these lows will be retested again, but then taken out. And I think relatively aggressive, or many basis points or percentage, or even several 50% losses down. Well, a handful of 50% losses down from 30. 3 or 4 or 5. Meaning 30 to 15 to 7.5 to maybe 3, and that's where I'm going. I wouldn't be surprised if that takes place. And I also wouldn't be surprised if, I was thinking even before this even broke resistance, back in here, that, yeah, if it goes to 150, would that be a surprise? Because I've been like, geez, this thing has been a decent bullish setup, because if it breaks this resistance, that's one of the big reasons. All of these hits in here, and break out above it, what's a good break? And well, right now it's went here. Maybe this is a good break because of overall volatility on this. This is what is kind of fascinating to me. We have support of 45 and we have resistance of like 83. That's not even 2x. So that's pretty good that they're always somewhat close to the same prices to each other. Because if you look at anything priced in the dollar, you're obviously the dollars, everything goes up long term, which again, I go back to silver and how it's been in a sideways range since like the last 45 years. But other than that, normally everything goes up, and this is going sideways to a point where generally lately it's been around the 60 number. Maybe that's going to continue on in the future, but my prediction is there's going to be a wave and age where people are going to want to get the physical silver commodity. See, I never could think of any physical, tangible way that it could work out that would be easily stated in specific terms. So in this case, you have a situation where, for whatever reason, some of these places that make silver just stop making it. Maybe there's unemployment in the world that's so high. And that's another video where I talk about the unemployment rate at 4.5%. You know what? I don't even need to show the gold-silver ratio. So when I talk about this, let's just put that chart up. But a situation where it's 4.5% unemployment. It's just a joke. But a situation where the real unemployment is in play. Situation where we have all these higher prices for things, people having to sell liquidity just to buy stuff, and people with cash seeing this and getting out of the dollar. I guess I'm just have to type it in. $4.5%. Well, 4.4. I mean, this is a joke to hear everything going on about all of these people and these initial claims people filing for unemployment. And how really it's really at the highest it's ever been, and yet this is at the lower end of the range that it's been in, going back to even before my parents were born. I mean, that's just crazy. As that goes, you have all of those spots where people aren't working. Miners we're talking about. Minters. And then, of course, people looking to buy. And now we're just getting all of the dealers. The APMEXs, Silver Gold Bull, all of them. There's a bunch more. And they're just going to be running out of inventory. I mean, is this going to be a case where they actually do? And you have to start, now you have to buy all the premium and high quality stuff, like the graded CRAP crap. Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking like, it's a swear word, not even close. And then now you have people like me that are like, I really don't want to sell to you, not at these prices. And then the prices just accumulate so much higher. And then, yeah, I mean, the dealers will get prices back in order, but the rush to get in, especially, I mean, I got to think how, even if just a small amount of people want to get silver, you see the problems that we're having now we would get if there's a 10, 20, 30, 40% increase in demand for silver. But we're at such a low level of people that are actually in demand for silver that we could have a 50,000 increase in demand. Because there's enough people that don't even know about it. Again, the case in point is, I'd be interested to see how many high school students would be able to answer the question correctly. I will show you a silver coin, like an American Eagle or a Canadian silver maple leaf. This is a silver blank ION. That blank is a word. It's an animal. What is that animal? We'll even say a one-syllable animal, like a cat or a dog or a bear or a bull or a horse. I'll list all the one-syllable animals I can think of and make it multiple choice. And of the 5, one of those is already correct. And of course, you know the answer to that. But I would guess that the correct answers would be less than 50%. Some people know and will get it right. Some people will guess it right because, well, when you have multiple choice, you have a choice of, well, a few of them. But a Barian, a Bullion, a Cadian, a Dogian, that's what it would be the choices of. So I think that'd be interesting to see. So anyway, I'm not going to find out, but the whole point of me saying it is these people are going to find out in time, very, very soon. And that's, of course, what drives the prices. And, I mean, is it possible seeing, $30, $50, $80, $100, $200, $400 over like a 6, 8, 12, 16, 20-month period of time? And I have to think even higher than that in dollars and even less than that for 20 months. But we'll see. Anyway, thank you for tuning in. Have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.